Kia ora. Welcome to this introduction to the spectroscopy module. Now, if you click on the overview tab, then you get this drop-down menu and you will see the different lessons over here. And notice you're first going to be looking at light and how it interacts with the bonds, and that's where we get the spectroscopy from. And then we're going to be looking at infrared spectroscopy, carbon-13 spectroscopy, mass spectrometry, and putting it all together, and I'll explain that a bit more, and then the teacher-marked assignment. Now, please note, you need to have done the learning for naming organic molecules, drawing organic isomers, as well as the functional groups, being able to identify them. So if you don't know that, go to 3051 module first and do the first 4 lessons before starting this module. So if we look at the first lesson, you'll see there is a little interactive that you can see how infrared light interacts with the different types of molecules. And that'll give you just sort of some sort of background understanding when you start the infrared spectroscopy. So you would work through these 2 lessons, and hopefully by the end of this, you would understand how infrared interacts with different molecules and what little squiggles you get. Then you look at carbon-13 in lesson 4. And then we start combining the evidence from the different spectra, because for merit and excellence, you must combine the evidence from the different spectra to get your final compound. So in lesson 6, you look at mass spectrometry. And then in lesson 7, we put it all together. So we see what sort of evidence can we get from each spectra. So if we say, is there an amine present? How do we know that? From the IR, for the MNR, and from the mass spectra, and so on. And then finally, you do the teacher-marked assignment. And so this tells you a little bit about what the assessment task as well as the assignment looks like. And you would download it here, complete it, and upload. It is quite a long assignment. It would take you about 3 hours. So you must do one of those compounds in great detail so we can give proper feedback before we upload the assessment task when we give feedback for the 3021 that you have completed. So the assignment and the assessment task look quite similar. You get given the spectra. So for instance, there's the mass spectrum, the carbon-13 NMR spectrum, and the IR. And then you have to combine the evidence from all of these. So you get the molecular mass, you work out the elements that are present and absent from the 3 spectra, and give reasons why. So is nitrogen present? Give reasons from the mass spectrum, from the IR spectrum, and so on. And then you do the same for the functional groups. And then you work out the molecular formula, and then you draw possible isomers for that molecular formula. Then you choose which of those isomers would be the best one that matches the 3 spectra, and you would explain it all in here, and finally finish with the name of your compound. Now, in the assignment, you get given 3 of these spectra or sets. So do at least one in detail so we can give proper feedback. You are given, at the end of all this, you are given the periodic table as well as correlation table, so you don't have to remember everything off by heart. When you do the assessment task, you only have to do 1 in detail. So the assessment task will take you a lot quicker than the assignment. All the best. Kia ora.